Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Foreman, and this is the new Roberts White Diamond 3. Had a great question up here in the Board Loft recently, and the question was, how do all these shapers come up with new models? It's always like they're coming out with new models just when you think there's a board that can do everything or a board for anything. They come up with another new model and another new name, and the question was, how do they keep coming up with all these new models? And a lot of it, especially knowing the story behind this board, a lot of it is just the evolution of the quiver and what your quiver is, you know, what it is this year and what it is next year and what your favorite board is, and then branching out from that board, or whether it's your favorite board or whether it's that shaper's most popular board, using that as an anchor for the whole quiver and then making boards that are going to complement that board. And that's why you see a lot of these new models coming out, and then that new model might be followed by another new model above and below it. And that's the story of where this board came from. One of the boards in the Roberts line that is really popular right now is the Roberts Meat Cleaver. And that board covers a really wide range. It's a hybrid board. It has a round tail and covers, you know, really the whole mid-range of surfing. You can ride it in smaller waves. It's not a true groveler. You can ride it in better waves, bigger waves, but it's not a true step up. It's just a good all-around meat and potatoes hybrid. This board was developed to go in much smaller surf than the meat cleaver. Because the meat cleaver became so popular, Robert Weiner wanted to make a high performance hybrid that would go firmly underneath the meat cleaver, since a lot of people have meat cleavers from him. And taking the White Diamond board, which he had the White Diamond 1 and then the White Diamond 2, and then making a White Diamond 3. He still makes the other boards, but making a White Diamond 3 that was specifically designed to just rip in small surf is why they came out and made this model. So it wasn't necessarily to make the White Diamond 1 or the White Diamond 2 better. It was to take that style of board and specifically target it at small waves. So to take the White Diamond and make it better in small waves, a lot of the things that you're going to see in other boards specifically for small waves are going to happen in the White Diamond. So he took the nose, made the nose a little bit wider, and also made the middle of the board a little bit wider, but not really that much, but then also made the tail wider. So you look at this tail, it's got a really wide tail block diamond tail on it. And as we all know, the tail block is the horsepower underneath your back foot, and the bigger that you make the tail, the more lift there's going to be, and the more the ability to create speed in tiny, slow, gutless waves. And so this board ends up having a very high performance feel and a very similar feel to a meat cleaver as far as the performance level of the board, but it has a lot more horsepower underfoot when you're riding those smaller waves. So the benefit of having something like that is that you can get off if it's not enough surf for your meat cleaver, or if it's not enough surf for a board like a meat cleaver, you can get off of that board and go to a similar board, so it's not a giant transition step getting off of that style board to a groveler that looks totally different. It still looks like a moderate hybrid board. It's just a little bit wider in the nose and then wider in the tail, just to give you more lift on those tiny waves. Now, comparing this to the grovelers that are out there, you have everything from full-on like round nose, stubby looking, ultra fat, ultra thick grovelers to something like this, which is more of a performance small wave board. And what we mean by performance, because performance is different to a lot of different people, is something that's going to surf really tight in the pocket and have the snappiest of turns. So this board does have a more narrow nose than, let's say, something like a Lost Puddle Jumper that's going to have a wider nose in the front. This has a more moderately sized grovel nose, and then keeps a little bit more parallel outline to that squared off diamond tail out the back. And so what that does is it allows you to ride similar style boards throughout the whole range of wave sizes, rather than going from a pointed nose board to a completely round nose board. And what this style of board will do is it will provide like a good locked in stance, you know, foot back on the tail pad, drivey, snappy, shortboard style performance in really small waves. Where on a lot of the wider, like really, really round stuff, those boards are more open to moving your feet around, but they're not as snappy when you need them to be as a true performance board, where this board is full-on performance for small waves. Having ridden this board quite a bit the last few weeks here in Cape Hatteras, what we're finding out about it is really good paddler, catches waves. I mean, even when the wave has passed you, you still have the ability to almost paddle over the back of the wave and catch the wave. Super drivey off your first turn, meaning like you drive off your bottom turn and the thing just takes off. A lot of that is from the tail block on the parallel outline, and then also the tail block being able to push on that much area off of your back foot. This board here is in RFT2 construction, which is Robert's high-end epoxy construction, and we have reviewed that on our website. So if you want more information about that, like in-depth detail on it, you can check it out on our website or on our Vimeo page. But the RFT2 in this board just makes it a little bit lighter, a little bit more responsive, a little bit more spring out of the turns. It's obviously also available in PU poly, in standard PU poly, which is the tried and true for a lot of people out there. So here, in Cape Hatteras, we have, even when it gets small, the waves still have a little bit of shape, a little bit of like zip to them. They don't get like small and mushy like a lot of places. They have small with just like a little bit of curl and curve to them. And this board just fits in there and just rockets. Like even in the little tiny stuff and bigger surfers, if the board's the right size, it'll get up and really go. It doesn't like to glide as much like a rounded nose board would, or a lot of the rounded nose grovelers. It really likes to be actively ridden. And if you actively ride the board, it's an absolute rocket ship down the line and has really pivotal, tight, snappy turns. And a lot of that coming from the nose shape, and then also from the ability to be on this tail, back on the board, back on the horsepower right here, and then to have the ability to be that far back and snap off of that on a short board with a narrow nose, so there's no swing weight out in front of you, gives you really good turning performance. The width is moderate. The rails are a little bit fuller than a full-on shortboard, and what that does is it gives you more float out on the edges of the board, more stability, more foam to push against, because those smaller waves don't have any power to push against. So if you push too hard on a thin railed board in small waves, you basically just bog the rail and then all your speed goes away. So in a smaller wave board like this, you want to have a little bit more volume on the rail so you can push against it aggressively and then get that push back. Kind of like you're getting the push back off the tail, you're also getting the push back off the rails. That's why they make the rails a little bit thicker. It's the White Diamond 3, great performance small wave board, and just an incredible turner and just super snappy performance, really, really fast. And all of these come set up as 5-fin convertibles, and you can ride it as a thruster or a quad plus a little finger if you want to do that as well. I've been riding mine primarily as a thruster. I found over the course of the White Diamonds, I've preferred a thruster. It's not to say that it doesn't work as a quad. A lot of people like them as quads, but with the White Diamond 1, the 2, and now this one, I've been riding mine a little bit more as a thruster than as a quad, but a lot of people also ride them as quads as well and love them. It's the White Diamond 3 from Roberts. If you have any more questions on this board or need more information about the design, you can check it out online on our website, which is realwatersports.com/surfing, or you can give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000. Thanks for tuning in.